Y'all, we are going to get to JB Pritzker sitting on camera, literally lying to all of his constituents about the ICE attack on Saturday. But first, we need to hear something that Brandon Johnson just said on camera. This person, and I'm gonna cuss less, okay? But just FYI, retard is not a cuss word, okay? I might use it liberally when it comes to Brandon Johnson because he is retarded. I want you to brace yourself for the absolute retardation that comes out of this man's mouth.
I've also said for the last couple of years that the extreme right in this country refused to accept the results of the Civil War.
What?
They've repeatedly called for a rematch. But in the coming weeks, we will use this opportunity to build greater resistance. Chicagoans are clear. Militarizing our troops in our city as justification to further escalate a war in Chicago will not be tolerated. The past, I've also said for the last couple of years that
Oh, Lord. Lord, just take me now. Take me now, Jesus. Beam me to heaven. Because I've had enough. This MFer right there doesn't understand history. How is the right refusing to accept the results of the Civil War when the right won the Civil War? Yeah, they freed your ancestors, Brandon. The same people you hate every single day on camera. They freed your ancestors. I'm pretty sure Brandon Johnson is the descendant of a slave, or many. I'm pretty sure that I learned that recently. It could have been someone else. It was Hakeem Jeffries. Sorry, I don't know about Brandon's ancestry, but Hakeem Jeffries is a descendant of slaves. So sorry for that. But how in the world? I don't know if these people like actually believe the whole myth that the parties switched in what they cared about and that the Republicans all of a sudden became racist, even though they're the party that freed the slaves. But that's not true. That's not true. The only thing that they switched was the Republicans wanted a bigger government before, and now they want a smaller government. That's the only thing that changed. They didn't turn into a bunch of racists overnight. The KKK didn't all of a sudden join the Republicans overnight. Some of them might actually vote for Republicans because of the insanity of the left, but they would prefer to vote for Democrats because that's their original side. They don't like Republicans. Like this whole ideology that Hitler was a conservative and Karl Marx was a conservative and that Mao was a great leader and Fidel Castro was a great leader and Osama bin Laden had some great ideas. That's what these young people on the left actually believe today. They literally switch everything that's true into like a 180 and change it into something completely different. It is utterly backward. And to be the mayor of one of the most populous cities, which should be one of the most economically sound cities in this country, and to be on camera saying that the right won't accept the results of the war that they won and that we're trying to put y'all back in chains is absolutely insane. To say that the right wants segregation when the only people calling for segregation are people that want things like black-only dormitories. Yeah, that's a thing. I've watched videos of where there's supposed to be this special black time in libraries too, and there's white people in there and they're trying to make them leave. It's a public area. All the students have access to it. You can't just not allow people in just because you're black. The only people that are trying to segregate anyone is black people because they don't want to be around white people because they hate us because of all this nonsense lies that people like Brandon Johnson keep telling. Now let's get to how JB Pritzker just literally lied to everyone on camera. So first of all, if you didn't know what happened the other day, and I do have a video of it too, after I played the video of JB Pritzker lying his ass off, this morning during routine patrolling, and this was Saturday, Uh, routine patrolling in Broadview, in the same area of Chicago that law enforcement were assaulted yesterday, our brave law enforcement officers were rammed by vehicles and boxed in by 10 cars. Agents were unable to move their vehicles and exited the car. One of the drivers who rammed the law enforcement vehicle was armed with a semi-automatic weapon, I'm sure illegally, because I'm pretty sure they are legal immigrants. I'll get to them in a second also. Law enforcement was forced to deploy their weapons and fire defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen who drove herself to the hospital to get care for her wounds because they couldn't arrest her because J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Johnson told law enforcement that they were not to help these ICE officers. Yeah. So they were under too much of a threat to actually pursue. And there were, when you see the video, you'll see that there was no way for them to pursue these people. They are in custody now, though. So she drove herself to the hospital. She was named in a CBP intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting online, "Hey, to all my gang, let's F those MFers up. Don't let them take anyone." Thankfully, no law enforcement officers were seriously injured. Thank God. Pritzker's Chicago Police Department is leaving the shooting scene and refuses to assist us in securing the area. There is a growing crowd, and we are deploying special operations to control the scene. This is an evolving situation, and we'll give more information, blah, 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 blah. So, J.B. Pritzker wants to pretend like this isn't real. Like the report from the ICE agents isn't real. And that we have to wait for their law enforcement to come up with a report, even though they were told to stand down and leave the scene. Okay? That's what we're dealing with. It. So we got a retarded mayor and we have a retarded governor. Actually, I don't think J.B. Pritzker is retarded. I just think he's extremely corrupt. That's what I think about him. And he thinks that everyone's just too stupid to understand reality. And Jake Tapper, for the love of God, Jake Tapper, can you please call these people out? You wrote your damn book. You already came out as a complete liar over the past 4 years. We all know you're a liar. Why don't you stop lying? Why don't you stop giving these softball interviews to these people who are blatantly lying to your face? Call it out. You done wrote the book, A Reveal All of Biden. Okay, now it's time to tell the truth and to push back on these people.
DHS says that CBP officers shot and wounded a woman in Chicago yesterday after, they say, she allegedly rammed a law enforcement vehicle, and agents were boxed in by multiple cars. The spokesperson for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, accused Chicago police of leaving the scene and refusing to assist agents in securing the area. What do you know about this incident? Were federal agents boxed in and assaulted?
Well, we don't have a lot of facts. What happens in these sorts of incidents is typically ICE puts out a press release before anybody else can speak with the press, and then it gets reported.
Maybe because they were the only ones there.
On social media and elsewhere. Remember, these are the same folks who killed a person, unarmed person, just a couple of weeks ago in Franklin Park. At first, they said that the officer had been threatened with his life. The reality of it and the truth of it has now come out, and that wasn't the case. They killed somebody. So here, it's really hard to know exactly what the facts are, and they won't let us access the facts. They are just putting out their propaganda, and then we've got to later determine what actually happened.
So instead of defending federal law enforcement, he goes and blasts them for protecting themselves a week earlier. And is basically, what is he trying to say? Is this is their fault? And we don't know anything, even though the whole incident is on camera? And the ICE agents drew up a report and reported it to the press because they were the only ones there because you wouldn't let the police officers help? Are we serious? Who is still voting for these people? This is demons. They're demons. So, while it's alleged and we don't know what happened, here's the camera. Here's the video. There it is. They're hitting the white truck. That's the ICE truck. Why would they be doing that? Oh, now they're driving it forward. Great. Definitely no attack here. There goes the next SUV. Running the ICE agents off the road. Now they're crashing into each other. But that didn't happen, right? I guess the second SUV, the second black SUV was a DHS SUV. But the first one that was ramming into the white truck and running it off the road was Marimar Martinez, aka LA Maggie. So here they are. Border Patrol officers were attacked by domestic terrorists who used vehicles to ram federal agents. Marimar Martinez, one of the drivers, was armed with a semi-automatic weapon and has a history of doxing federal agents. She was wounded by defensive fire from CBP agents, later released from the hospital, and now is in FBI custody. Another driver, Anthony Ian Santos Ruiz, involved in the attack, has been arrested. The situation escalated as additional domestic terrorists arrived, throwing smoke, gas, rocks, and bottles at DHS law enforcement. One more terrorist was arrested for assaulting CBP agents after Governor J.B. Pritzker declined to allow local police to assist Secretary Nunn deployed special operations team to restore order. So they're just leaving they're basically influencing these people to dox ICE agents and talking crap about them wearing masks because they're being doxed and their families are being threatened. And meanwhile, they're literally helping domestic terrorists and refusing to allow law enforcement to actually interfere and protect the federal ICE agents. This is sick. This is sick, y'all. Sick. Y'all, neither one of these people, Brandon Johnson and JB Pritzker, neither one of their terms is up until January 2027. Chicago has at least 2 more years of this, unless they were able to get rid of them somehow, which I don't necessarily see happening, even though Brandon Johnson has the lowest approval rating in U.S. history for any mayor anywhere. He's still in office somehow. Like, he's completely retarded. I don't even like to look at him, y'all. I'm gonna just be petty for 5 seconds. His stupid haircut that goes like this and down, it makes him look even more retarded. Like, he already has that like squished up baby face with a tiny little nose. And then somebody told him that haircut would be a good idea. They lied. They lied, y'all. They lied. He looks retarded. AF. And JB Pritzker, dude, you need to chill out on the hamburgers and hot dogs because you might not make it through the rest of your term. These people need to be removed. They're literally just lying. They're just lying. And Brandon Johnson apparently doesn't understand history about the Civil War. The people that actually got his ancestors out of slavery. I don't understand what is wrong with these people. Do they not understand that tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, I don't know the exact number, of white men died to free the slaves? White Republicans died to free the slaves? And they're calling ICE enslavement? No, they're being sent back to where they came from. What kind of slave is sent back home? None. It doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the term. It doesn't make sense. Yet there's still all of these retarded people who believe everything these people say, even if you have video proof that they just lied. It's insane. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. Hit the like button. Hit the notification icon, the little bell, because I am being told that notifications are not being sent to everyone. Because if you watch like a bunch of different types of different material on YouTube, what's going to happen is your algorithm's going to change. So if you watch my videos one week, like a lot of you watched all my videos that first week that you subscribed a couple weeks ago, well, then if you watch a bunch of cooking shows the next day, you may not get notified about any of my videos ever again, unless you go back and watch my videos, like you go manually find my videos and watch them. What you can do to prevent that is you can hit the bell icon. I know I don't necessarily like notifications, but I also don't have this huge problem with my algorithm either because I watch the same crap every single day. But that would help. I have made several videos since then, and I've noticed that the viewership on many of the videos has gone down because YouTube is probably not notifying you that I have new videos out. So check that out. Hit the bell icon so you get notified, and I will see you on the next one.